What's going on, everyone? So Los Angeles Lakers are having a great season, and it's the ranking system, right? Going into the season, I mean, they were ranked very poorly. I mean, it just ESPN, Bleacher Report, all of them all had various rankings for the Lakers, and none of them were very favorable. None of them were to the level in which the Lakers have played and performed. Look, Lakers have been fantastic, been incredibly resilient without LeBron the first 14 games. Luka's missed a handful of games. Austin Reeves missed a handful of games. A lot of it has been, Austin Reeves playing to the level of, an MVP. I mean, he's been ridiculous, and it's really helped this Lakers team kind of, climb the rankings and, be the 2 seed and, keep fighting along the way. Still a lot of season left. Lakers really could use a trade to kind of upgrade the wing depth and things like that. And, I do believe the Lakers are a contender as is. I do think the Lakers, again, assuming Austin Reeves can play to this level come playoff time, right, it's going to be really hard to beat this team, especially 4 times. And that's any team. Right? I think that there are, Lakers can beat anybody. Matchups are very important. We've seen in the last few years in the playoffs, not just from the Lakers side of things, but just other teams in general. But we've seen guys like Luka carry teams much worse than this Lakers team to the conference finals or the NBA finals, things like that. Like I've talked about, like even that finals Dallas team, you can argue like the Lakers have better top end talent, right? I mean, LeBron is better than anybody on that Dallas team, and Austin Reeves is, playing better than anybody on that Dallas team. And, it's just that Dallas team had better kind of utility guys, better athleticism, things like that. And you watch that Dallas run, they got there on the back of their defense, not really their offense. Where the Lakers, if they're going to go on some crazy run, they're going to get there on the back of their offense, right? Unless you get several pieces. If you get a Herb Jones and a Keon Ellis or something like that, maybe another piece, then yeah, maybe the Lakers defensively, they can have better balance. But Lakers are really, they're going to most likely, as is, going to win a championship based on their offense, and they're going to have to be to the level of like a Denver the year that they won, right? Denver was like 15th in defense during the regular season. They were second to last during the postseason, but they were so efficient. They were so good, right? It's just like no one stood a chance. The closest anyone came was Devin Booker. Historic run, literally. Like it never happened before, it never happened after, where he shot like 72% from the floor, and they still were only able to win 2 games, right? Like it still wasn't even close, and they just kind of ran through everybody. That's what the Lakers would be looking to do, right? Be that team that is just such a well-oiled machine by the time we get to the playoffs. Got to keep in mind, Lakers will be better come playoff time because they're one of the best half-court teams in all of basketball. And they're one of the best mid-range teams in all of basketball, which, again, I've broken this down for years, that you look at teams that usually advance far, it is the mid-range. Why is that? Because teams are so concerned with packing the paint and keeping guys out of the paint while also closing out hard on the three-point shooters, right? Now, with the Lakers, teams might pack the paint a little more, right? Teams are going to try to defend, but to have guys like Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, Rui Hachimura, like all these guys that can knock down the mid-range, it's going to be very valuable for this Lakers team. But obviously, people are going to say, well, you're a Laker channel, you're a Laker fan. Of course, you're going to say that you think the Lakers are a contender and whatnot. Well, right now, the NBA seems to believe that the Lakers are a title contender as well because the NBA released their power rankings. Now, they update these regularly, and the Lakers have been top 4 every time. But now, Lakers are number 3 on the power rankings. There's only 2 teams ahead of the Lakers right now, and that is the Oklahoma City Thunder, which they're ahead of everybody, right? And then the Dallas Mavericks. Those are the 2 teams, or not, the Denver Nuggets, not the Dallas Mavericks. Got Dallas because I was thinking the finals run, right? The Denver Nuggets. So the Oklahoma City Thunder and then the Denver Nuggets are the 2 teams ahead of the Lakers, which I think is fair, right? Denver has smacked us the last 2 playoffs that we've met them. Denver also, I think, is better. Right? I know people are like posting what Michael Porter Jr. is doing on Brooklyn and, what like Cam Johnson's doing on Denver and stuff like that. But you're missing and leaving out a ton of context in that, right? Cam Johnson, what that trade did is it gave you a reliable veteran 3-and-D guy that can still defend, better defender than what Michael Porter Jr. is. Also a reliable three-point shooter that can knock it down, catch and shoot, right? Is comfortable in the playoffs, all of that. But it also gave them depth, which is something that they didn't have, right? They were able to go get, Bruce Brown back and go get, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Giannis Valanciunas and all these guys. They were able to get better depth, which is something that the Denver Nuggets have really struggled with the last few years. And even the year that they went to the NBA Finals and won the championship. I mean, they were running, like Aaron Gordon at the 5 and stuff like that because they lacked the depth. So I do think if you want to put Denver over the Lakers, I do think that that's fair. Same thing with Oklahoma City. I mean, Oklahoma City, they're the best team. They're going to stay the best team until proven otherwise, right? But again, I like the Lakers matchup. I like that matchup against OKC come playoff time. Now, I know people are going to say, well, the Lakers got smacked by the Thunder the other night. And look, random game during the regular season, especially without LeBron. Like that game would have been very different with LeBron. Even if we didn't get the 29-point near triple-double LeBron, right? One of the big problems that the Lakers had in that game was the ball pressure. And when you have a guy like LeBron who OKC has nobody to really pressure him to the level where it's truly going to bother him, right? Because again, you're talking about LeBron. He's so big, strong, physical, right? Like most of OKC's guys are in the range of like Austin Reeves height. They're all like 6'3" to 6'6" range. So they can pressure and kind of get into the jersey of a Austin Reeves, of a Luka Doncic, right? But when it comes to somebody like LeBron, he's just too big, too strong, too physical, too fast, right? Like he's somebody that when Luka and Austin Reeves were struggling to bring the ball up and they were applying that ball pressure, just give the ball to LeBron, let him bring it up, let him get you into your actions, kind of get things going, right? So that game would have been very different. I'm not saying that they necessarily would have won that game because it's just a bad game all around, but I think that game would have been a lot closer, a lot more in range. But also, people talk about like that random game. Well, the Lakers smacked OKC twice last year. They were going to smack them again, but then the NBA was like, we can't have our darling get smacked 2 games in a row by the Lakers, right? So what do? They eject Luka Doncic. Otherwise, Lakers would have ran that through. Did anyone go like, oh man, OKC isn't a contender. Oh, OKC, they can't beat the Lakers. No, everyone was like, what? Let's see what happens come playoff time. Well, it's the same thing. Playoff atmosphere, playoff environment is very different than a regular season game. Right? Lakers, like I said, are going to be they're a better half court team when the game slows down. Right, you get more half court actions, half more court sets. Yes, the whistle dries up a little more. Teams can be a little more physical, which does play into OKC. Right, that they're already able to be very physical at an NBA level during the regular season. I mean, come playoff time, we've seen that they're able to really kind of get away with some stuff. But again, you're going to have to play through that. If you're Luka, you're going to have to play through that. If you're Austin Reeves in particular, because Austin Reeves is the one that's really had his struggles dealing with ball pressure and athleticism and stuff like that. He's going to have to figure out ways to overcome that. But in general, right, like I trust the Lakers come playoff time, especially if you have a healthy LeBron. Luka Doncic, we know what playoff Luka can do. Austin Reeves, if he can kind of play to the level, it's going to be really hard to beat this team, even if you're OKC, even if you're Denver, even if you're any of these teams. Also, I like the Denver matchup a lot, and I talked about it the moment we got Luka, and I even said, Luka and the Lakers are going to beat Denver that first, because remember they had that Denver game like a couple days after Luka made his debut, and I was like, they're going to beat Denver that game because Luka loves to play Denver. And what happened? Luka went in there and he smacked Denver and they won because Luka's one of the few guys that can match Jokic as far as overall production, but it's also his buddy. So he also wants to beat him and have that competition and be able to text him and be like, I got you this time. You don't think Luka would love to eliminate Jokic? Of course he would. He'd be jumping for joy at the opportunity to do so. So to me, again, it plays into, Lakers, you're going to have to go through the gauntlet regardless, right? But I think the Lakers are much better matched up. I was the person that was screaming I didn't want to play Minnesota, right? I wanted to play the Warriors. A lot of people, I mean, I was getting all kinds of names and stuff thrown at me, calling me I'm a casual, I'm an idiot, all this stuff. And I was like, no, like Minnesota, their athleticism, their physicality, and their interior size is a problem for the Lakers that they haven't figured out yet, right? At some point, if you would have had to play Minnesota in the conference finals, sure, I would have been all for that because you would have had to go through them regardless. But if you played a team like Golden State and then, who do they play? Was it Houston in the next round? Like, I think the Lakers would have made the conference finals because I think they would have figured some stuff out in the Warriors series. Right? And then I think they would have figured even more out in that Houston series. And they would have been dealing with some size and stuff like that. But Houston doesn't have the offensive firepower and stuff like that. So I think the Lakers would have been able to hold true. And then you play Minnesota and then, that ends up happening, right? Like whatever happens type thing, right? So to me, that's where, if I'm the Lakers, that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be kind of in that range, or I guess technically if you would have been in the Warriors bracket, you would have played Denver, which I would have been okay with Denver. And again, if you can get through Jokic and you figure some stuff out, then Minnesota, by that point, you've already figured stuff out. So matchups are going to be very important. Again, I think the Lakers, and I've said it, I think the Lakers are one of the 5 best teams in all of basketball, which makes them a contender, right? And now it's just getting the pieces to make them a true bona fide contender and really kind of putting them over the top. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.